Technically, yeah.
Five seconds remaining.
Have it. Their games are going to flow a lot better. They're going to feel better on the lanes going into the mid game, especially. I think this game was just too clunky. It's relying on some Tuskar cooking in or the Mars cooldown, Chronos ultra long cooldown. I don't think they had a very easy way to just jump a hero, get some momentum going, and then play off the numbers advantage on the map. Historically, they've done a lot better when they either get that Storm Pugna opening, the Sand King Marana opening, some tiny Grim, something like this.
When you play against OG, if you rely on your lanes having to go well to beat this team, that isn't really the recipe to success. So, kind of like what SVG was saying, I'd like from the Predator just to secure themselves a little bit more in the lane. Don't force your last pick to be this, we're going to pick a Void for the late game, but it's not going to feel good in the lane. Like, when you're already accepting that your lane is bad, that's not the way that you beat this team. Ban out
we're into the draft, so the Tiny, they banned the Tiny. Look at that rate.
Ed, I would like a point, please.
For what? No, this is a whole new draft.
Well, give me a point for this draft.
This guy does not deserve any points. He refused to purr.
So the question on the banner says, does Yuragi shave every day? And I would assume he does, because I know Slacks does every day, and that's why he keeps it tight.
Really?
I'm like every 2 or 3 weeks tops.
Interesting to see the Weaver ban. I don't think we've seen this hero almost at all this tournament. He went unpicked, I think. Maybe one game, but it is a traditional kind of counter to this. Monkey, Viper, low stuns, suffer from the minus armor. It's an interesting pick.
It could also be that this Monkey King is the carry, the Viper is already locked in as offlane, and some Weaver carry potentially.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You're worried about the carry pool, because again, I feel like they're blocking so much of his carry pool.
Yeah.
He's going to have to potentially play something weird here, but he wants to not fall behind too early. And that's where those Weaver, Drow, Furion type carries come out. We haven't seen him play a lot of them, but we did see TSM showing the power of that carry Furion. Maybe it could be something they bust out here.
Maybe.
I think that was like Thor's hammer, but in a Peruvian flag.
Yeah, me too. It was cool.
That was pretty hype.
Beastmaster ban as well. So this is, again, they get the Storm Spirit, so suddenly the map is going to be a lot easier to play for Thunder Awaken. They can come online faster. OG's thinking about, we don't want to fall too behind on terms of controlling the jungle areas. Beastmaster is one of the best heroes at doing that. It's also a problem for Viper in the game in terms of the in-game matchup. Super high physical burst. Usually what this hero suffers against because he cannot build up that armor early. And there's the Furion ban, which I think would have been really good for them.
Oh, wow.
And you see the Thunder Awaken bans as well, Invoker, Puck, Pangolier. They want to go aggressive, they want to take the fight, but if they're in their objective, they don't want to get punished by this quick TP reaction from this mid laner, BZM just then returning the favor.
We saw quite a lot of the Pugna Storm openings in the group stage and in the early stage of the tournament into banning Nyx, because you don't want to have a Nyx coming up against these two. But OG managed to sneak it through. That does spell big trouble.
It was game 2 where Thunder Predator lost a bet boom. Remember the Furion Rat going into, that was the exact same thing. It was Nyx into the Pugna Storm. It made the Storm's game very difficult. The Carapace having to go BKB, but I think Storm nowadays going for like the Knolls into just casual BKB, you also kind of brush off the Nyx. It's more if you're initiating without vision, going blind, that's when you can get caught off guard because you're not using your BKB straight away.
Right.
In a lot of cases, he could just target different heroes, ideally, because Nyx is going to also want to frontline a little bit potentially to find initiations, and Storm loves hitting that backline, so if he can find Monkey King somewhere in the fight or go for another hero to try to chain stun, that can be a solution too. But the mana drain is still pretty scary.
It's also just annoying here in terms of heroes just hard to pick into, right? It's making these later core picks even more difficult for Thunder. They have to think about the Viper and the Nyx. I wouldn't be surprised to just potentially man up and just take like Phoenix Mars here, get the team fight, get something that's going to pose at least a kind of issue for a lane if this monkey ends up being carry. You're never going to be in a perfect scenario where nothing gets countered by Nyx Assassin. It's just Nyx Assassin's job.
All of OG's heroes are so annoying. Like Monkey King against melee heroes, Viper against the tanky heroes, and then Nyx against the Int. Like they've literally gone 3 heroes that in a draft. There's always one player where it's like, I don't play this because of X. And they have 3 of those heroes that are so obnoxious.
Does that mean you pick Brewmaster since he's all 3 combined? You
Exactly.
Can
And then you just Cyclone, yeah.
Whatever your lane is, yeah.
it is an old school Viper counter.
And it is Thunder Awaken. They like it as well, so.
Yeah,
You just tornado him and worry about him later. Is that the idea? Or?
yeah, Viper just doesn't do anything with your split.
Right, right.
I feel like
Psychic Marana.
not that bad though, because you can break his passive now, and his passive is a big reason the hero's popular at the moment.
Gets extra magic resist though, which is kind of nice.
But doesn't that get broken?
I guess that's true.
I'd have to look at the.
I was looking at the sign boss.
But anyway, they decided to go the Mirana Sand King, so this is what I wanted them to go, at least direction-wise. Like you were saying, get the super low CD stuns, be able to play the map. This is their style. This is their super aggression that I think can catch OG off guard. As long as you get through the lanes, you're going to be pretty happy in this type of setup. Huge amount of team fight and pick off. There's your counter team fight.
Yeah.
I like it. Good counter pick. Anti-mobility against a lot of their heroes is good. Against Mirana and Sand King, getting those pickoffs is going to be a lot easier. Just got to land the first X or the Nyx stun with follow-up, and they're going to get kills on these.
10 seconds remaining.
Feels like similar to last game. What is Akaz going to feel very confident playing here? This is a lot to pick into.
Is OG flexing its Viper to the end between 5 and off lane? They pick
They're
up
flexing the monkey too, technically, right?
technically, yeah.
I mean, you know Seb will play. He'll play a 5 monkey if he
Yeah,
wants
that's true.
to.
There are also carries left.
And again, it has to be something that can deal with this Viper on the lane because he has no dispel. He has no help.
5
There's
seconds
Morphling
remaining.
that comes to mind. Looks decent here, actually, I think.
Morphling's right.
The lane might be a little rough, but I think once you get into the mid game, you're pretty happy.
What's the thinking? I mean, the Abaddon ban is because you can just take off the arrow, take off the SK stun and stuff like that. So you just want to get him out of the way, right? So you can guarantee lockdown on at least one hero when you come in.
Abaddon Monkey is also a very underrated and strong combo. China really like this combination of TI, though I don't think they played it too much on the main stage, but it's just very strong. You guarantee a Dispel for Monkey so he can get off Wukong, he can get off his BKB,
right.
Then he just man fights people. It's kind of usually the way you combat this hero is you find him, you break a tree, jump him, burst him, but if you get saved and get BKB,
right.
It's very difficult.
Is Juggernaut not also very good for Thunder Awakening into the Kunkka, the kind of breaking the X boat, also having a healing ward against Viper?
That's a really good point, yeah. That could lane decently well. And then if you get rotations in from either Mirana or Storm, you can definitely still kill the Viper. And then maybe spin isn't the best against him, but once you get Omni/Territory, you should be able to solo kill him. I mean, they kind of reflected a little bit with the Lifestealer ban, right? It's magic immunity, it's a way to dispel yourself. The cooldown's pretty long, but maybe there's another carry hero that can do something similar.
It's just the 5-head bans to then put the Viper to the 5 roll, and then they pick up another offlaner. It's like, we got you. Oh, they banned the Jug. All right, okay. It's Viper offlane.
Yeah, those are the two carries that have magic immunity easily.
I feel like they're going to lean towards Morph here. Not seeing anything crazy better that's robust because they theoretically still can't pick another offlaner, right? That's the big issue here.
You just look at his hero pool for the event so far, and none of them feel good right now because of this Viper.
Yeah.
And it's tough that they keep leaving his pick last year and forced in these weird positions, but I mean, if you pick either Mirana or Sand King, the opposite hero gets banned.
I mean, it's also a product of the game one, we had the early Razor, this game we had the early Viper. Again, they're putting a hero there that is a lane dominator, forces you to have to deal with it or you fall behind.
He doesn't want to pick his TA, he doesn't want to pick his Spectre, his Ursa, TA as well. Like, there's like
That's what I'm saying, man. It was it's not often OG busts out this hero. It's definitely a counter his hero pool pick, so you have to bust out something creative.
They can find that magical perfect pick that hasn't been thought of, it'd be really good, but it's not looking great.
Turn to pick.
TV.
Well, you can fight him, I guess, right?
That is you play the lane for like 3-4 minutes, and then you just run to the jungle, and then your Pugner accepts that he's going to get some XP, and then you play the rest of the map pretty much.
The downside is I think this lane matchup can go horribly wrong. Like if you die once early, it just becomes unplayable. I think you have some decent meta timings, and like you said, you can always go jungle. The mid and late game is amazing for the hero. You'll just shred Viper. Again, he's going to be low armor for so long. Gives them the damage, extra wave split as well. This is an EG classic Storm Terrorblade for a reason. Plays the map extremely well.
Viper 5, then you pick just Timber. And just roll for your opponent.
I feel like you leave the Viper there. I've seen the Viper versus TB matchup many times. NA DPC, it is like an absolute dumpster if you have a bad lane because he just can't get close to the creep wave. He doesn't even aggro creeps when you get close. So I just feel like OG's got what they want here in the matchup, but hopefully he can get to the jungle safely.
There is still Underlord.
Yep.
And it is a pretty juicy Underlord game if they want to just go the route of you cannot run into it.
And it is ATF drafting.
Do you think he's just going to pick it anyway?
He just wants his last pick. Like you said, you're on the Viper.
There's still Wind Ranger, you know, never count it out.
He's right in there.
That's true. Yeah, the last pick winner. Let's give it to Seb.
It's just gonna get terrible here. Burrow arrowed all the time.
I think that one gale
They've taken the Void this time.
That's not a pick I would have expected just because they don't have the best to throw in the Chrono, but I can understand this. The scale element is terrifying this game.
Yeah, so it is Seb playing the Monkey 5.
I think the problem is that they don't have enough stun that's reliable to chain stun to kill Terrorblade. So if they get into a late game scenario without Chronosphere, they'd have to perfectly combo boat combos plus Nyx stun plus Monkey King. And if they mess that up, there's a Sunder, the fight gets tough. But if they can just Chrono kill him.
Yeah, but you end up with a Monkey faceless Void lane. I mean, we've seen Seb pull out some stuff, but
this time, like OG's lineup is allow Thunder Awakening, please run us, try and fight us, and if you don't get your perfect execution of spells, we're gonna have the run buff, Carapace turnaround, Chrono, like all these spells that just make you innately tanky. Thunder Awakening might struggle if they don't execute in their smokes.
I don't know. Sand King versus a double melee lane.
Why do you think they're not going to do Monkey Viper?
Oh, you think? I mean, it's a Nyx, right? I think Nyx Void's an even worse lane, potentially. I don't think you have any play options for Sand King. I think you will absolutely dominate that lane if you play.
You kind of need the Monkey there to give Void some type of aggressive threat.
Yeah, at least you can make some space, trade with Jingu. I don't know. You threaten some pulls at least a little better because you're faster. I think Nyx Viper's also an okay lane, you'll get away with it. But I think a lot of this game comes down to that first 10 minutes. How much does Thunder Awaken get done in those side lanes? Similar to game 1, but I think now they actually have the opportunity to get it done.
So SVG, very quickly, who do you think's got the better draft here?
I favor Thunder Awaken. You know, I think this draft is a flunky from OG. Again, if they fall behind, might be difficult to come back.
Okay, well, we're going to throw it over to our casters, Bob and Owen. Take it away, lad.
Thank you very much, Ted. Yes, very much looking forward to game 2 here, just about to start between Thunder Awaken and OG. Fog, we're getting a bit of a different approach from OG in particular, especially with the opening of the draft. They've gone for the Monkey King Viper. Thunder Awaken on their side of things, one thing that sort of stands out in comparison to what they tried last game is I feel like they're going to be able to bring the fights more frequently, less focus on those long ultimate cooldowns that they had to fight round last game.
Absolutely agree. This is a much more Thunder Awakens draft that I think we've expected to see from them. Early aggression, not really cooldown reliant, picking that last super dominant carry hero that can still look to get involved and maybe have a better laning phase. But OG, they've gotten very outside the box from what we've seen from them this tournament. This is just, I mean, they haven't played Viper at all, but you can understand why they're doing it because Amar's looking for that hero just shut down the safe lane. And of course, we do have a bit switch up with the Nyx and the Monkey King as well, too. So really interesting support picks. Nyx, clearly you can understand why they'd go for it, right, versus the Storm and the Pugna. Looked like an excellent setup for it. Panel talked about how it's been banned multiple times this one, but Seb playing Monkey King, that is really cool. The level 30 Master Tier Monkey King.
I was going to say pretty much this. Of course, we see what he does on the Grandmaster Tier Wind Ranger. We'll see if he can do anything similar here when he's on his Monkey King.
He has to have some type of concept that they thought about versus like the Pugna as well. Just how much he can scout in the back lines, always be able to snipe the hero. Does provide you a good stun from the tree lines always, so we'll see how he's able to do. And it is going to be Monkey King Void versus the Sand King Mirana. I'm going to be looking at this lane a lot. I feel like it could get pretty rough for the two melees.
And how do you sort of like the way that both teams have ended up with their carries? You know, how do you sort of see the matchup and sort of the threats that each carry is going to have put against them in this game?
There's a lot of chain stun that can come out for that Void. The Sand King, the Mirana, the Vortex to follow up with the Storm. While on the side of the TB, his is just about that late game dominance. He's going to be able to just address everybody except for the Void pretty easily in most situations. So it's going to be a lot about this lane.
See top lane, Seb. To get the Jingu up, but still taking a lot of damage. And of course, that level 1 Jingu heal doesn't really give much when you trade back. We'll have Yuragi with the dilation shield here to help slow them down. They can back off safely, but not too easy for Seb to trade here on that first level.
No, definitely not. Now these healed up though, can help with the denies with that plus 40 damage. Can control the lane decently.
Chris Thunder will have that strength of quick kill combo. We've seen it multiple times this major, just having the sort of Mirana plus any sort of setup will just guarantee you these opportunities after the lanes to start moving around the map and finding those kills. And OG, they don't really have any defensive heroes. Nobody to really bail each other out of getting caught in that sort of lockdown.
No, so Tiger will have to run into it, the Carapace, and just tank the death, but we'll be able to counteract bottom because this could be him going down.
There'll be a lot of damage here from the poison stacking up. But
Tiger
has to back off himself here. Panda pushing back Tiger well as Picard will be able to turn back up towards the creeps. In fact, he's turning right down him. In fact, with the meta, he might get kills out of this. Indeed he does. He takes out Amar. Defensive Decrepify. Trying to keep Picard safe from Tiger. Tiger attempts to stay on top of him, but Picard will live. And now he can maybe try and turn and get a hit in onto Tiger. Tiger's got to run. Picard's chasing him down, but the Sal's there and Tiger can keep the distance. But a good read there from Thunder, from Picard to push on. He had the meta ready to go. They get the kill.
They just hit the 2. These little denies adding up. He was still last hitting very well in the lane, even though they were getting harassed heavily from the Viper. 3-3 on Amar at the moment. Dying early as Viper can be very painful. This can totally offset your game to be able to actually pressure properly. And looking at Amar, he's holding the skill point, as we see a lot of times when you are Viper versus TB. Don't want to get that corrosive skin, that reflection back onto yourself too much, as he skills it right after I say that. So that could also hurt. I know that's one of the reasons that they definitely did go for that pickup. I'm totally lying, by the way. It does not act back. Sorry about that.
We'll see what Amar does here. I mean, he'll be able to get more aggressive once he hits the 3. Can have that sort of third point ready to go. So Picard, play careful. Sort of window where he hasn't got the meta ready. You can definitely expect once it's there again, he's not just going to use it to hit the creeps. They'll try and set up for kills here between the two of them, him and Panda.
Lane is pushing in though. Good pull from Panda. And yeah, I totally lied about the corrosive thing, so ignore that.
Him on the top side of the map. What are we sort of getting out of that matchup? Who's having a better time up here?
As we said, I'd imagine the Sand King should be able to have a really good time up here. The Void, it's this double melee. Even though he's gone for early time dilation to offset some of that pressure, this Caustic is devastating versus double melee. Even putting the second point in stun, that's a bit interesting from Sacred.
I guess wanting to look to get aggressive and have that longer, more solid setup for Matthew to follow up with an arrow.
Probably knows that he doesn't need the Sandstorm in this lane because he is versus double melee, just wants to have as much kill threat as possible. But, I mean, Sandstorm does do a lot of damage, so still interesting.
Mid-tier at the moment.
Pretty even.
Yeah, Dark Margot's doing a good job. I feel like we've seen a few mid laners go up against the Kunkkas recently and get hit out the lane bottom. This time around, Cars will fall. Mark able to stack up enough of that poison. Indeed, this is where you have to really worry against the Viper. When he hits that level 3, 2 points in the poison attack make all the difference. Over towards the mid. D7 BZM look towards Dark Margot. Backups him with the arrow. Will hold back the Kunkka for now. Seb trying to stand his ground. Hitting into Dark Margot, but it'll be him that falls. Seb goes down. Dark Margot's still got a fair bit of mana to play with. So BZM has to be cautious as he backs off. Good move there from Thunder, making sure that Matthew is ready to back up Dark Margot and ensure that OG don't get the kills out of this.
Always having to check those runes when you see these matchups. The Kunkka versus anybody who is reliant on the bottle. Dark Margot will not be able to get the rune though, so he's sitting low.
See what he wants to do to get his mana back. I may take a trip back to base.
This is cool for Matthew. Knowing that the Sand King has no threat top, he's just starting to rotate, looking to help this Terrorblade who potentially could have a tough time versus that Viper level 3.
Well, the third hero down here, they could find an opportunity to get a kill, especially if Tiger leads forward too far.
See what angle he's gonna go for. They do have the damage if they do get the connection with the level 2 meta.
See what they try for Matthew. Himself hidden in the trees. Things up for the off the Archie. They're going to go fully aggressive onto the guard. They got the stun there onto the tree of the Tiger. Lining it up, making sure that they have the control to take down Pakaz.
Amar hit level 5 right before they made the play too, so even more damage. And they missed the arrow. No way to set it up.
Yeah, I mean, level 5 on the Viper. This lane now, when the Metamorphosis is not available, it's pretty much impossible for Pakaz to step up and hit creeps now. Viper is just going to hit into him and destroy him each and every time he turns up.
I really think he might have to start going to the jungle pretty soon, because he did use the meta there and died immediately. It was kind of far off, too.
And beautiful stun from Tiger. Not a
He caught all 3.
He really did. And Amar just... As I say, it's going to be a huge nightmare for this Terrorblade. Pakaz, he
came back bottom.
He's come back to the lane, much to Amar's happiness. There'll be the Decrepify to give some safety for Pakaz.
They'll never see me coming.
Sitting down so low, it's not a safe place to be. Over the mid, BZM. He's going to try and play around his torrent and the boat, but he can't get it off in time. Thunder, they'll find the kill in the mid.
Probably the better plays where Matthew should go. Even though he wants to help his Terrorblade, they don't have the great setup for the arrows. They have the setup with that Storm Spirit, so... might have to just break this lane. 18-3 on Pakaz. He's getting pinged too. Amar, he's popping the glyph. He wants to get aggressive. He wants to get another kill.
He is low on the mana. Even with the stick charges, only will be able to get a few attacks in with the poison. We'll see what they try. Tiger himself does have mana for the stun, but no mangoes or anything to fuel Amar up if they want to get aggressive. And Thunder still with the 3 of them ready. Try and turn if Pakaz does get gone on. I'll say that they've sort of backed off from Pakaz. I mean, they're just feeling very confident in the fact that Amar's mana is low.
Amar's got Courier coming out though, treads and clarities. Yep, gotta juice himself back up. And they will look to make moves, get some stacks going for the Terrorblade, so they have that way for him to reliantly farm afterwards. All 3 lanes looking pretty damn good for OG. Even the Void able to farm better than the Sand King. Sacred's now gone to the jungle and Void's just in a he's versus nobody, 1v0. Level 6 already finished up. He's gonna have much better timings than we saw Pakaz have on that Void.
Let's see around the bottom. Rotation here from the Storm, looking to set up onto Amar. They go to get connection, they jump in with a burst. He's going to turn up those. Bruno is going to catch the 3 of them. He'll turn his attention over towards the Storm first, but he doesn't get enough bashes. Dark Margot gets out of there, but Pakaz, he won't be able to escape. Matthew also in trouble. Sacred comes in with a stun. The ult to try and burst through Seb. The boat's going to be coming in though, and that will provide the protection for Seb to get out of there. They lose a 3rd hero here, Thunder Awaken. As OG, they're not done yet. They're going to look for more. X-Mark set up onto Sacred. They got him. To drag it back into the Primal Spring of Seb. A full team wipe here by OG. as both teams, they choose to put everything into that fight, and it couldn't end any worse there for Thunder. They lose everybody, folks. 8-minute fight.
10 heroes in the bottom lane at 8 minutes, reminiscent of some TI finals where we've had teams just break lanes and fight, but beautiful connections. OG, what? I think it was a 2-man Nyx stun into a 3-man Boundless into a 3-man Chronosphere, land their spells perfectly, and BZM shows up afterwards for the cleanup. 3K lead already off of this.
It's starting to look boring already here for Thunder. They had a tough game one, and 8 minutes in to have that difference build up once again. It looks to be, it's going to be just as difficult this game too, potentially.
Especially if they start losing towers this early on versus a lineup that does not naturally take towers, the same as Thunder Awaken with the TB.
I'll see it again here. Looked like a decent start getting that burst, but OG with their reactions, Yuragi coming in with that 3-man Chrono, making sure that Amar was able to live long enough to get enough damage out and take the fight. Back in action, Seb will get caught. So Thunder Awaken able to punish his position.
They have to keep focused on bottom lane and just mid and bottom just to not lose the tower. If they start losing towers, then the access for OG becomes so easy for them to get into this TB's jungle. And they have great heroes to be able to disrupt the TB in jungle. The Nyx when he gets 6, the Monkey King jumping through the trees. A lot of different ways that they can get that access once those towers are dead. But it is tough for OG to take towers besides winning a team fight into a tower.
Sort of need that Blink Dagger on Sacred to really look to pick the fights around next. We'll smoke up 2 of them here. Dark Margot.
That's a good point. Sacred has gone for a lot of small items this game. He's got Soul Ring as well as Bracer as well too, so that Blink is going to be delayed a lot.
Maybe they can find something alone with sort of just Dark Margot zipping in, getting that Vortex to buy time for Matthew to land his arrows. They put their eyes towards the mid. Tiger is there right behind Yuragi, both BZM and himself, ready to back up any sort of move on the 2 attempts to go.
Tiger already 6.
Panda, he steps forward, they're able to get the easy setup. It's going to be him going down, they'll look towards Steph. Dark Margot's got to be careful. There's a lot of OG around, they're going to have the combo here. Dark Margot will be able to zip out in time, and he has enough mana to continue to get out of there. He'll live.
Has to use his whole mana pool to back away though. Yeah, Taiga hitting 6 pre-10-minute mark on the Nyx Assassin. Really important in this game how much we mentioned the Nyx Assassin versus the lineup of Thunder Awakens. It's amazing this game versus the Pugna and the Storm in particular. Kaz getting breathing room though. The important thing that they need has gone to the jungle, farmed up the stacks that they had prepared for him, and they are starting to be able to set themselves up to protect the tower bottom with Sacred down there.
And you imagine Thunder Awaken, they'll be doing their best to try and make sure that Pakaz isn't forced to fight anytime soon.
Yeah.
What sort of item timing or pickup are we going to see where this Terrorblade wants to get involved?
Maybe actually earlier than usual. I think he still wants to get like the Manta and everything like that, but might be able to turn up and fight a bit sooner than that. Depends on which cooldowns are used. I think if Chrono's used, and maybe even if Boat is used in some situations, he might turn up to the fight, but if Chrono's available, I highly doubt that he shows up to most fights. Until later stages when he feels tanky enough.
On the bottom here, we've seen Tiger
Everywhere.
in all over the place. He hasn't missed out on a single kill so far. 107.
Feels like Taiga and Matthew just...
And then the mid again. Lift the carapace, but Panda is close enough to the tower. And this time Thunder, with Dark Margot at his side. Not quite easy of a move for OG to make towards him.
Lots of scouting though, as you said. Look at this Nyx. Scouts out mid, checks out the ancient area to see where the Nyx, where the TB is. Panda even starting to put sentries down, trying to watch out and protect the areas for when that Nyx is going to sneak in.
Kaz pretty aware of this. He's not going to try and push out that wave or any further get any hits onto the tower. OG.
Ooh.
I don't think they can do anything with this. I mean, Yuragi's there to help out. There's the arrow follow-up as well as the urn. That should be Seb dead. Unless he can turn this. He's able to... What's the Chrono? The Chrono's there. Seb, he's going to walk this off. He's going to live. They didn't have enough damage. Seb will be saved. And it's going to be Sacred that ends up going down.
The little items he's purchased off, something you don't see much on a Monkey King. Look, he has like a buckler and a fluffy hat.
Margot is going to be smart with the ball lightning here. Will manage to, again, break the X-Mark pullback.
He does have a regen as well, too.
Whoa, what I miss?
I do know that there's no Chrono.
Radiant's bottom tower.
But Margot, though.
To again be able to avoid the pullback. If they can get the combo. No, they can't again. A little too elusive here with the zips.
Over here.
Quite catch this storm. Dark Margot
Pushing his limits.
We'll see it again here. I mean, they got so close to bringing down Seb. The combo with that setup for Matthew. Not enough burst.
I mean, I guess Matthew didn't want to leap in to go for the double Starstorm potential to land on him, but does end up costing them the kill, and it's all the little things that matter, right? Raindrop, buckler, fluffy hat. Oh, 2 HP.
Radiant's middle tower.
The trusty
is
shovel
under
HP,
attack.
of course.
Radiant are scanning. Dire are scanning.
3K lead, getting a
Radiant's
comfortable
middle
advantage at the
tower
moment
is
on
under
OG.
attack.
And now they start getting their farm style going. Amar getting a bit greedy. Yuragi under no pressure, farming Ancients too.
We had this last game, of course, you know, in the game where the kills weren't that different. The amount that OG was able to farm from the map in comparison to Thunder was just a complete difference.
And BZM's BKB timing is going to be super fast to just be able to lead the charge in most of these situations to set up his carry to be able to get those Chronospheres that he's been getting so perfectly so far. Yuragi, both of them on point. 0-5, a lane that could have gotten pretty difficult for the Void. The double melee versus Sanking Mirana, he's done excellent.
Let the fun begin.
In the mid.
Bottom tower is under
Bit of
attack.
mana used there by Dark Marga.
Amar very smart with the Nether Toxin every time, just drops it on top of where the Storm's trying to zip, so if he does try to go for an aggressive play, Dark Maga will have no damage. The overload will not be there.
Invisibility.
A lot of pressure on Pakaz to carry this one.
Radiant's bottom
Really is.
tower is under attack.
Keeping, you know, fairly up there with the cause of OGs, catching up.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of protecting his triangle too, right? The sentry wards that we mentioned earlier for Panda. Watching out for that Nyx.
We'll get the combo. This time round, it should be an easy kill. Nothing for Tiger to do there as Sacred catches him by surprise. I need to keep looking for this, the combo of the two of them. Sacred and Matthew, they've got to punish every time that they catch anybody on OG out alone.
Top. Mago will get the tree cut.
Be able to take down that tree. TPs are coming in though.
He's a bit tanky.
Dark Marga probably not going to be able to finish this on his own. Boundless is it. Instead, he's going to be able to step away, and Dark Marga with that last bit of mana, he's got to get out of there.
Panda, 1 or 2 more hits and he's going to go down probably.
Try and protect himself with the Decrepify, but the match with damage still taking part. He's healing up with the life drain, so Panda will survive.
So many, I mean, both teams just matching each other's aggression at this point in the game. During this time, Yuragi will be able to likely take the bottom tower. So first T1 of the game will go to the team with a Void. Not something you tend to always expect.
It's just going to be a super fast Mione this game for Yuragi.
He's huge.
Should be a 15-minute Mione done on the face of this Void.
He'll be able to solo kill most heroes inside that Chronosphere now at this point. And he's going to always have that static charge effect that he's able to throw on himself, the Mjolnir. Very good versus any type of constant damage like your sandstorms and things like that.
Over here.
Something again in the mid. BZM stepping up, then immediately go for him with the combo. BZM, he's going to be going down, but you know if he is there, Darby's going to be able to step away. They're trying to finish him with the right clicks. They will get him. They take down BZM.
Mago though.
They might go down in return. He's out of mana. Tiger's in with the control. Dark Margo will be able to at least bottle up that DD, but he'll go down. So once they get in and get BZM, it's still costing them lives in their efforts. Just under the rest of them, Moonlight Shadow up and they'll back away. Unlikely to want to look for a fight against OG around this tier 1, especially with Yuragi having the Chrono ready to use.
That could have been a scary moment there for Thunder too. Yuragi was on the high ground and then he actually walks low ground as Thunder goes up on the high ground. So could have potentially caught a Chrono there.
Just got to be careful.
The tower.
He's going to get caught out by the Boundless. Jump off to the side, but the sentry's down as well as the dust. There's no escape for him, even within the sandstorm. They'll try and heal him up with the life drain. The arrow actually does hold back Yuragi, but the damage bringing him down low. Can they keep still alive? The heals, they'll save him. All right, Sacred will live.
Well played by Panda.
Very nice move here from the supports of Thunder.
Keeping their tower alive as well. If that Sand King does die, tower probably drops as well. OG will back up, continue their farm.
Thunder still proving that they can hold on despite this pressure from OG, and indeed you see that 3 minutes faster than the fastest that we've seen.
Dire's bottom
Quite
tower
the timing
is under
here
attack.
from Yuragi.
Going straight for the Lincolns next. So they'll have that protection versus the instant stun, in particular versus Sand King, even blocking maybe even the Sunder at some points, and the Vortex. Very good Lincoln's game, actually, for OG.
See what Tiger can find. Cars would be the big catch.
He wants to get some information up here, too, probably getting a ward down. It's going to get spotted, though.
Double damage.
Probably going to know that vision is there. Mago pops the DD.
The rest of OG to maybe come over, join Tiger in the efforts here. There's the boundless. They'll look to take out Pugna first. That's Panda gone. Over the side, Dark Margo with the DDs on top of Seb. The combo not going to land again. Dark Margo able to dodge the boat. Going to dip back in to try and finish off Seb. Will get the kill, but now he's out of mana. He can get away from this one. BZM going to catch onto Bakaz. They'll jump forward. BKB popped by BZM as he commits in there.
Oh, the Chrono again.
Dragging the ball, this back into the ball. It's Chrono. And that's going to be both causing trouble. Bakaz goes down. Dark Margo falls as well. As OG, they get into the triangle of Thunder, and Thunder cannot get them out of there in time. OG too strong around the Chronosphere for Thunder's course to deal with.
And Yuragi's always in the right place at the right time while also keeping up with the farm. 10k net worth. Incredible play so far from OG. Constantly pressuring Pakaz. And Dark Mago, 6,000 net worth on his Storm Spirit. He's died 3 times already. Seeing all this chain stun really come into play. Taiga especially, who will probably die walking into the blind high ground. But 10 assists already for this Nyx assassin. He's done his job.
And just soaking up the attention as well.
Tipping each other a little bit.
Cause of OG still having all the space in the world, but Yuragi 6-0-5. Even Amar and BZM, each of them only dying twice so far. Top, I believe they'll try and make it a third, and they'll go for BZM. BKB still on cooldown. And that's the boat coming in. Does hold back the cars for now, but still with the zip forward, Dark Margo finishes off the job. They get BZM.
It feels like Thunderwake has to get more aggressive in this game whenever Chronos
He's going to go straight into the jungle, looking to get aggressive. There's the back of Sacred. Good hold on to the two of them. The BKB from Amado is all in time before the arrow connects. OG, they'll be able to turn that attempt around.
He just got it delivered. If you see his courier is literally still going back to base from it delivering it. He went for the disassemble play with his Dragon Lights. Perfect timing again.
Dire's top tower.
I think it's the right move from Thunder though to try to get aggressive. They have to take advantage of the cooldown in Chronosphere, it feels like. So they're just getting further and further behind in this game.
Cars just a couple of components away from the BKB on top of the Manta. On that stage, as long as he doesn't get caught in the Chrono, he'll have a solid shot at standing his ground with the Metamorphosis and maybe getting some kills in return when OG look for the team fight.
It feels like the priority though is going to keep going up and up more and more. That Yuragi, he's not going to go for multi-man Chronos at some point. He's literally just going to Chrono this TB. And looking at the levels too, he's already 16 on this Void ahead of the TB, and there's a very dreaded level 20 talent that can come out for those Voids that allow you to kind of kill literally anybody in the Chrono, that 120 attack speed.
The pressure then to be on towards Panda, to come in with those defensive decrepifies and give that chance for Cars to live despite being Chrono.
Kind of cool that the time lock has a higher win rate actually. That's neat. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take the time lock damage, to be honest.
Dire's top tower.
Taiga continuing to scout. All his wards are getting dewarded. So Panda very prepared to protect this jungle. But Pakaz keeps having to just like run away. He's having to find different places to try to farm. And it can't be just Pakaz who's farming either. It cannot be a Terrorblade versus the world, because as we said, he's addressed by the Void. So they have to get some type of more successful fights there for Dark Mago in particular.
Gonna try with this smoke. Yuragi's gonna be a bit tougher to catch. In fact, Yuragi himself also smoked.
Got Lincoln.
Bit of jump to Dark Margo. Margo's off to the side. Oh, they try and get this, but the Carapace catches Sacred on the initiation. It jumps.
Oh boy.
They've got the damage here. They're looking towards Dark Margo. Dark Margo has to over to get X Mark. This time they're able to pull it back into the bow. They'll probably lose 3 here. Sacred's gonna try for the TP out, but the damage is done. 4 gone on Thunder.
Yuragi just playing like a beast, really. The Carapace also catches Sacred. A bit of a mistake from there, but again, Chrono catching everybody. Beautifully done. And the static charge coming into play there. We saw the Mjolnir effect, actually the thing that finishes off that Storm Spirit with that pulse.
Radiant are scanning.
Now look over to the Roshan now. Thunder, they will scan it out. And maybe back up in time to try and have a shot of looking for a steal. As OG, don't take this down too quickly.
It's pretty bold that they're going to actually attempt for this one here. No Chrono. They do know that Epicenter is down, though. The big team fight from Thunder. But yeah, they'll back it up.
I was going to say,
It looked a little funky.
That would have been a tough one to take. Would have taken a fair bit of time. And Pakaz, BKB just about to be finished. He's getting to the point where he will be ready to step up to the fight, especially when the Chronosphere is on cooldown. Pakaz, he'll look to get involved.
Is under attack.
Has to do something big with the reveal, though. And for OG, I think the thing is that they're just going to back up, right? Back up and farm, and now it's going to be the pressure on Thunder to potentially look for a play with that BKB TB to force something. Otherwise, 60 seconds, Chrono's going to be back up, and OG's going to look for the fight to catch that Terrorblade again.
Structures are fortified.
So let's see what Thunder does look to try to do. BKB still far away for Dark Mago. He actually bought the hard on the Storm Spirit this game early on.
Is under attack.
He's going to stall his timing significantly, and he is playing versus the Nyx Assassin. So
OG, they're ready to look for action. They're going to get the setup here onto the mid. Panda, what in the stuns? He'll go down to the start of this move as Thunder. Watching from the side. Dover, going to get the two of the Darkmongers. He comes in the center. He's going to kick down loads of the poison. Picard's moving in with the menace, trying to be into the BKBs are up from OG. Picard trying to get the
He's alone,
but he cannot live for this. Now put the BKB, but the bash is causing issues. He's trying to look for a better opportunity. Will get his HP back up decently, but he cannot stand to take the fight still at this point. Arrow comes in on towards Tiger, bursting Nyx Assassin down low. The illusions as well, bringing him out of there, but they get him out to the side. Pop smoke.
Okay.
He's protected from those last few hits flying through from Picard.
And OG, even without Chronosphere, take the fight advantage. And Chrono's back up in 5 seconds, so might even continue looking for this fight. Meta gonna be gone. Dark Mago continues to just jump in and nearly die. Somehow gets away this time, but was very
close there indeed. The poison from the Mar. I think he was able to dodge sort of a few ticks of it there with the Bull Lightning. Let's keep him alive. Was the game overall still in a tough position for Thunder Awaken.
And now they can force the roast because Chrono is available. Everything, well, the important abilities at least, the meta in particular was used by Thunder Awaken. They have an epi, but fighting into this is going to be way too difficult as Taiga always on the prowl with the scouts. Same thing for Seb on the tree lines. Great Pact online already.
Highly unlikely we see Thunder trying to do anything about this one. OG. We're ready to grab this Aegis and look to push on for the next move. The next team fight for Thunder, it's going to be so hard.
Yuragi is about to hit level 22. Level 20 as well. Whenever I say 22, I always feel like I say it wrong. 20 as well. There we go.
Are fortified.
Thunder. We got until the meta.
Mago.
Harpist, diffuse Harpist. Dark. And both there with a follow-up. Can he get the zip up in time? He can't.
Oh, boy.
Matthew caught out in the mid. It's OG, they've got the creep wave in position. They'll push towards the tier 2. Picard is trying to cut the creep wave back.
Okay.
The illusions in the mid. That will slow down the push a little bit.
Dark Mago's really feeling the pressure of this game. Addressed by the Nyx Assassin, he had the ward down. He went for the Vortex, but Taiga got the Carapace off first, so immediately stuns himself. And there we go, level 20 for the Void. Next fight, it's all on Picard.
It is. It's going to be down to what he can get done with that meta. It's still about 2,000 gold away from having the Skadi. But still just sort of fully defensive with his items. The damage isn't too hard for OG to kite out, as we saw last time, even being able to save Tiger from the DPS of this metamorphosized Terrorblade.
Like, which chord can he focus fire on the TB? It seems like almost impossible to go for any of them. Even the Viper at this point, almost 3,000 HP.
Radiant's top tower.
Same thing for that Kunkka, 3,200 with a halberd on top too, so just really feels super difficult for Picard, because now it feels like also when you start feeling this momentum for OG and they know Storm is completely shut down, Sanking's completely shut down, all your itemization just has to be to deal with Terrorblade.
They can get in the mid, they get the tree cut from Seb. Arrow fall up as well, so they can burst through the Monkey King in time. They haven't got enough damage. Seb's going to be fine. It's going to be Panda that's in trouble as OG take down the Pugna.
Thunder Awakens, they can't strike back with any kills, not even taking out the supports. We'll catch an arrow onto Yuragi.
OG ready to just move over, look towards more tier 2 towers. They've still got 3 minutes left on the Aegis.
Buying a gem now too, just
and
has more dominant.
Tiger steps into the sandstorm with that spike. Carapace catches out Sacred.
They even popped the glyph there to attempt to maybe counteract and get some damage out on them, but uh-oh. That means another tower on the menu for OG. As just swinging pretty much anywhere they want on this map. And look at Seb doing his thing, just going for the damage mitigation that he loves to do. The Wraith Pact going in for that pipe next. Gonna be able to address even more of the Sanking Storm damage that will come out while his team prioritizes shutting down that Terrorblade.
Yeah, we've seen the last few times, and Dark Margo's pretty much tried to just go for Seb on top of the tree. Now, yeah, he's going to have nowhere near enough damage to burst through this Monkey King.
Map starting to shrink incredibly fast because the only one who can actually go out and farm now. does make a little bit of a venture out into the Radiant jungle, but he's spotted by wards.
He's very close to having the Skadi.
Radiant's top
We'll be on top of
tower is
the,
under
with the
attack.
Mind Breaker, so decent damage will come out from this Terrorblade.
And a move. Getting surrounded.
Radiant's top tower has
And Taiga's
fallen.
already on the scout for Pakaz. He knows the positioning he's in.
Dire's bottom tower
does find
is
him.
under attack.
What they can do with this, yeah, BZM is going to be ready to head straight over to try and help Taiga get the kill on Pakaz.
Uh-oh.
If he expects them to be over here, Amar also TPing over to the tower. They'll get the setup. He wasn't able to get the BKB off in time. They've got the chains done, getting low upon the BKB. He's going to try
He's gonna die.
TP out, but he's getting taken down. It's too much damage.
Taiga just on point with his rotations, just always scouting. And now, Yuragi looking for another one. 60 seconds, they can go for literally anything on the map, OG. Moonlight Shadow will protect the Pugna and the Mirana. But a devastating hit. Kaz, the only one who's really having a game, it feels like, on Thunder Awakened in any way, continues to get shut down.
He has to, of course, take these risks, look
He
to
does.
farm in those deep areas. And it's inevitable that it will eventually get punished. And up until that point, yeah, he was finding the goal. Keeping up with Yuragi, definitely impressive in a game where overall his team falling collectively so far behind that of OG.
Yuragi already with a full Scotty though, so that TB, even the BKB, he's addressed. Yuragi can just focus onto him. Another stun.
And another kill.
Dire's
OG
top tower
just getting
is
the,
under attack.
getting the kills each and every time they get the opening setup. But tier 2 taken out on the bottom.
It's time for a potential high ground push, even though Aegis is gonna get reclaimed. OG, they're feeling their strength.
Yeah, they know how strong they are.
Radiant's bottom
Cars
tower
will be
is
back
under
up.
attack.
Secondary Lincolns also. We mentioned how good of a Lincoln's game it is for OG. Amar buys one, throws it onto Yuragi.
He steps ready to set up for the trees and just jumps in straight away for Panda. Panda's gone.
Radiant's bottom
The
tower
tidal wave
is under
last hit.
attack.
What can Thunder do? Cars, full Skadi's there. He's able to get his next big item done. The bottom rack's in trouble. OG, commit for the objectives. Not going to see really any attempt for Thunder to try and defend this bottom set of barracks. They know that they can't do anything without having at least a full 5-man alive. OG, they'll take the first set, be ready to swing around the mid and probably go for more straight away.
Yuragi, I think he actually would have gotten him if he had the chrono. He pump faked it and it was he actually guessed perfectly. It was right on top of where Mago was jumping.
29 to 13, 17k lead here from OG. Top Margot. Oh my goodness, nearly getting caught there by Taiga.
They really, like we said, the Lincolns gonna be able to protect every single time these two cores of OG. And now, I mean, Thunder just trapped inside the base.
Gonna try and smoke out Thunder. They've got to take risks. They've got to try and catch OG by surprise outside of the base, but OG in the position they are, very, very hard for Thunder to get a jump on this.
Be careful how hard they stack.
He's going to be the first to show. The Lincolns is there. Sacred will go for the bonus strike. Yuragi's going to step forward and look. He hits nobody. He gets nobody. It looks like it probably won't matter though as they kill off Sacred. Sacred buys back Dark Margot with his BKB on the retreat. Amar leading into Pakaz. Pakaz trying to step forward. Amar in the controls. Then they're in on top of Pakaz. Pakaz disarmed and getting bashed in by BGM. He gets taken out. Sacred, he fought back for this one, but he's also in trouble. X-Mark back into the torrent. I mean, OG, they're just that far ahead. They don't need to hit anyone with the Chronosphere. They'll still take the team fight with ease.
Everyone's still full HP, pretty much only Taiga the one to be brought down and just buys back instantly, rejoins the fight. I mean, that says everything, right? 0-man chrono, and they still like barely even lose any HP, and that should just be the game. 50 seconds, no Pakaz.
No buyback here on the two cores. OG.
Oh, click on Amar. Look at the quick buy.
He's got those mantles. See if he picks up any here before the close up of the game. The mid-rack's gone. OG, they'll look to take it. Take the win in nice and safe. Look for the megas.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They might have one final instance where they'll be all up to look for some sort of fight.
Like, they can't even do anything. Everyone's too tanky. The boat, animation from Seth too. There's just no damage.
Radiant's top towers are under
Not Margot again. He can be in. He's trying to do his best to pull them away from the final set of barracks. He's got to be careful.
And he's gone.
Caught him with the bash. He has got buyback. So they'll, as I say, maybe have one more last attempt. No, they'll tap.
They're done.
They know there's nothing to be done. GG is pulled. OG, this game 2 is theirs.
Oh!
It's there.
Matt, pointing out, Amar does say, sorry for Toxic Matthew at the game. Sorry for Toxic, and then regarding it to Matthew.
Indeed, I believe because we heard before
Yeah.
the series, you know, that Thunder Awaken were looking forward to playing against
Absolutely.
because there was a little bit of beef in the pubs.
can get up to 250 Steam euros. There's a lot.